So while connecting to SQL server, this is your server name. Copy this server name. And now I'm going to open Power BI desktop environment. This is the tool we are using to interact with Power BI environment. So we are in the beginning only, so close this window.
So actually today's session was this one, no? To how to download and install all these, correct? That is,
Yeah, that we will do. Wait, okay, na?
yeah.
So this is the environment. This is called as Power BI desktop. So Power BI desktop, here we have different options. We are going to work with them. So this is pure development environment of Power BI. So coming to next scenario. How to get this tool? How to install this tool? Yesterday we discussed about different versions, different editions. Everything we discussed in the last session. Right. So go to Google website. Here type it as Power BI desktop download. So open this website. So this we are recording this website name here. Please check it. Okay, na? So scroll down here. Go to this. Download. Select 64-bit. Right. Go to next step. It is downloading now. Please wait. In the same way, you just download and install SQL also. Durga training team will give you SQL server installation videos. Okay, no? By following them, you can do that. Right. Open this file. Wait, it will open. Why it is taking time here?
Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the SQL Server, what is the timing for this batch actually?
What is the
For the SQL Server, so what
class?
is the timing? Yeah.
4 p.m. now. After some time, new
So,
batch will start again.
okay, okay. So we have to come to the new batch only, correct?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because I joined today, so it is already many courses over. I think we are doing the join thing, correct? So, so wanted the new batch.
Okay, okay, no problem. Right. Why it's not opening? Wait. I'll do it again now. Let's go to
So,
so downloaded, right? Go to downloads. Right. I think there is some issue, it seems, with this file we downloaded. Retry is also not working. Let's do one thing. I'll download it again and I'll show you. Okay. But we'll do later. Now, it's simple to install. You go to this environment. So in this environment only, we are going to perform development activities. Right? So coming to next scenario. Right side, you can see fields. Under fields only, we can work with metadata. We can see metadata. For example, you connected to source and you copied some tables from this source. Right? And you connected to some source and you copied data from some source. So metadata you can see here for that table. Metadata means what? Table names, column names we discussed in the last session, right? Table names, column names comes here. If you come to left side, you can see report view, data view, and model view. Data will come here. Right. And coming to next scenario. In this area, you can create different types of reports. Now here you can see visualizations. These are the different types of visualizations we are using for creating this report project. So different types of visualizations available as per your requirement. Right. You can work with this. And coming to next scenario. Now, here you can see get data window. If you go to get data window, you can see different data sources. So by connecting to these data sources only, we can copy data. In the same way, before going to copy data from this source, we have to can you hear me now? All of you can hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear.
Right. Before going to copy data from this source, to create a project. So for that, go to File, Save As, provide some project name. You just take some location and provide some project name. Suppose I'm giving project name as 5 p.m. How this file is going to store with .pbix extension. What is the extension of this file is going to get? .pbix is the extension, Power BI file, PBI means. Right, and you just can save button. This project save. Created here now. Okay. So coming to next scenario. In this project only, we are going to perform different types of activities. So if you want to perform any task in this, go to get data window. Source now SQL Server is provide a source database name, provide source, server name, database name. So while connecting to SQL Server Management Studio, I copied this server name, and this here we have database name also. Right, and click on OK button. So these are the tables existing in the source. Suppose I'm going to copy EMP table, department 1 tables, load. How we copy? We are copying now import. What is the other way to copy data? Direct query. Right, and you go to suppose employee table, expand it. See, that is the metadata. Okay, no? So metadata. Metadata means what? Structure. Table structure. Where can I see the data? Physical data. Rows. Left side you can see data view. So I clicked on employee table, see that it is showing physical data. Right, and metadata, physical data. So metadata means what? Structure. Physical data means rows. So it is showing clearly. And you place mouse here. It is clearly showing how this table copied import. By using import only, this table copied. Right, and so the other way to copy data from this source is direct query. Go to SQL Server source again. Here we have to provide server name and provide database name also. Direct query this time I'm using. Previously we worked with import. Now we are working with the direct query. Expand it. Here you can write query. Select statement. Suppose I'm writing basic select statement only. Select star from EMP. So that is retrieving data from EMP table. So I'm going to retrieve data from EMP table. By using it only, I'm going to copy data. So Whether data copies or not, let us see now. So click on OK button. So this is the data coming from this source. Load. So now we are getting this table name as query 1. We can rename it. No problem. Okay, na? Right. Let's complete this copy. Okay. So data copied. You just double click on this table name, query 1 table name, and you can rename it like this. For example, I'm going to rename it as employee 1. Expand it. See, you can see structure. Right? You can see the structure copied from the source by using direct query. Finally, what about data? Please check it here. See that data is not there. It is not showing data. Even there is some message also. Check it. Right. Got my point? So clear scenarios here we have examples, practical examples we have, like what is the difference between what is the difference between import and direct query? You can see directly. In the
So
same
then
way,
what is the use of the direct query then?
direct query data will be there in the source only structure copied, right?
Yes.
Why we are using direct query means storage. Generally up to 1 GB size of the data, we are going to use import. If size is more than that, we are going to work with the direct query because of size, data size, space issues. Right? And is it clear,
Yes.
Samak?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
coming to next scenario. Let's go and copy data from other data sources. Just SQL Server, we copied data now. Not only SQL Server, we have other data sources also. Now let's copy data from other sources. Let's go to Excel files. And let us see how to copy data from Excel file. Right. So go to get data, select Excel source. So here we have some file, Excel file. Before going to copy data, I'll just open this file. This is basically file system. How data stored in this file system? In the form of sheets, order sheet, return sheet, user sheet. But coming to our environment, Power BI, again data is going to store in the form of table only. The only way we can store data in SQL Server in Power BI environment is table only. There is no other facility. So we have to create table. After creating table only, we can store data. Right. So now let's click on open button because we are going to copy data from this. Right. Select like this and load. So whatever the sheets existing there, I'm going to copy every sheet. See this. Like this. Okay, now? But see, while copying data from this file, it was not asking for anything like what we call like import or direct query. Not asked. So now my question is how you copy it? By using import or direct query, how you copied it? That's what the question now. You just place mouse here. How it is copied?
Import.
Import only. That means direct query works for only databases. We cannot use direct query for file system. So that is what the scenario. Okay, now. So coming to the next step, how to copy data from text files. Text file means what? .txt. So let's go to get data window. Text file. So here is the file csvmp. Right click and open. So on top you can see column names. Under column names we have data. Please check it. Right, Annie? So now I'm going to copy data. Open. Load. Copied, Annie. Please check it. From where we copied this? Now we copied it from file system. What type of file? Text file. Okay. Now? So if you place mouse here, what it is showing import. By using import only it is copied. So this is the way. Okay. So file system, how we are going to copy data? By using import only. Coming to databases, we can use import and direct query also. Right? You can go to import data and direct query when you are copying data from the databases. So now even see after copying data, if you place mouse here, clearly it is shown how it is copied. Right? And so this is overall scenario. Of course, still we have to copy data from some more scenarios, but you have to practice these things. And in the same way, we have to go for SQL installations also. Then I will share you these files. So whatever the files we have, I used now copying data, right? Different files I used now. Even I'm going to share you those files. So by using those files, you can copy date, right? So Vaibhav, you are actually enrolled for 7 p.m. class, right? 7 p.m. Vaibhav is there. 7 p.m. or
Yes.
7 a.m.
Yeah,
What
7
was
a.m. But no, but I have a office timing at 7 a.m. So I'm not able to join properly the class at 7 a.m. So I want to switch it to 5 p.m.
5 p.m.? What about 7 p.m.? 7 p.m. works for you?
7 p.m. in the evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is also fine.
Sorry. Okay. Right now, bro. Right. Let's do one thing. Let's work with these scenarios in tomorrow's class. Okay. Right.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay. And one more request to all of you. Some of your numbers are not working. Better you please contact training team. Here I'm typing my mail ID. If you really wants to continue this training, enroll with them, because the problem is you're not getting access to videos or anything, right?
Yes.
So wait, I'm giving you a number here. 720 721 2427. This is the number, 720 721 2427. That is the number. Please copy that number and contact training team, because they're going to share videos, everything to participants, and materials, and these files also, practical files also, and even practice databases also they are going to share. Okay, na? Right. Okay then. Bye.
Okay. Bye, sir.
Bye. Let's connect it to project. So this is the project we created yesterday.
Yes.
So in this project, we copied data from different tables, and today we are going to work with this concept, enter data concept. So enter data means like this, directly you can go for input data. Suppose ID, e-name, salary, like this. Okay, now suppose employee 2 is the table name. So we are not copying data from any source. Directly we are creating table here only, and we are going for data rate. See this. So if you want to check the data, what to do? Go to data view, left side. See this. Okay. Na? So in the same way, we can also copy data from SQL, I mean, direct copy paste kind of. You select database here, select star from EMP. See this is the table we have. You click on this corner and right click, copy data. Okay. Na? You can go to this environment. Here go to home tab, enter data. Right click and paste. Table created. Okay. Na? Even like this also, we can do this scenario. Right. And so find out the difference, what we are doing here and how we are copying data from different sources to Power BI environment. Okay. So this is the way like how we copy from different sources to Power BI. In the same way, now we have to discuss about refresh concept. So how to work with the refresh? See this, you go to department 1 table. We copied this table by using import. See, if you place mouse here, you can see import concept. Right. And so now I'm going to modify something in the source. Suppose select star from department 1 table, no data. I'm going to insert the data into department 1 table. 10 computer science. Hyderabad. So this row inserted into table. That means table modified in the source, right, Andy? Okay, now please check. So now this modification copied from source to Power BI. Or change the tables and check it. Modification not copied. And so now I want to copy this modification from source to Power BI. What to do? That's my point, right? Here we have refresh button only. Just click on refresh. See, refresh is used to copy data from source to Power BI. Refresh we use it only for what? Import. Direct query, no need to use import. Let's finish it. See this, copied or not? Right, and modification copied. That is refresh option. So these are the ways, different ways to copy data from different data sources to Power BI. In the same way, how to copy modifications from source to Power BI. These are all different things. And coming to next scenario. After finishing copy data, we are going to work with transformations. How to transform data. Let's go to this window, transform data window. Right, and this is Power Query Editor window. Left side you can see queries. Queries means tables. In Power Query Editor, we call tables as queries. Coming to right side, you can see applied steps. So you are going to perform transformations means you are going to perform some scenarios. So it shows there whatever the scenarios you performed. So generally we are going to save them. So you can see save button, or you can also use Control S. But sometimes what happens, we can cancel. Okay. We can cancel. And coming to next scenario. Let's start with, and here in this training, I'm not going to save the steps. I'm going to perform this step and then I'm going to cancel. But in real time, we are not going to cancel. Every step maximum we are going to save. Okay, now practice purpose, I'm going to. So here we have right click, just take right click on query, table. You can see properties, copy, paste, delete, rename. So these are common scenario, just leave it. But here we have enable loaded. Those things also I'm going to work. I'm not skipping anything. Okay, now? Right. So we'll read that message. So disable means this table cannot be used in report creation. Suppose there is some table, you don't want to use the table in the report creation, you can disable like this. But my question is different. I'm not going to disable because I'm going to use this table, I think. But now my question is different. My question is, if you don't want to use the table, why you are copying the table? You just stop copying table, right? And got my point, right? But see, sometimes what happens, I told you in the beginning, we are going to create relationships between tables. Right? And so some scenarios, what happens, you copied some tables from source to Power BI. You want to create relationships between tables. But you're not going to use the table in the report creation. There we are going to disable like this. Otherwise, we are not going to disable. Okay, na? Right. Coming to next step, see. If you unselect it, what happens, this table will not be included in refresh. You just unselect it and click on refresh button. Then this table will not be refreshed. Right? And so next, duplicate, just creating duplicate table. You're working with some table, you can create duplicate. See, this duplicate table is created. Now I will show how to delete it. Okay. Now. So coming to next scenario, here also we have some other scenarios which we are going to discuss in the coming sessions. But now let's go to this advanced editor. See that this advanced editor is showing source details. Please check it. What is our source server name? What is our source database name? It is showing clearly. This is what the scenario. In the same way, go to properties window. What it is showing? Again, same scenario it is showing. Properties window also showing same enable, load, refresh. So these things only it is showing. Okay. So this is what the scenario. Hello. Right. So these are the properties we have for our queries. After that, here we have different columns: employee number, employee name, hire date. Okay, now. So open this employee number drop down because employee number is number family. You can see some scenarios here. Data selection 7369 or 7788. I mean, you can select required data. See, it was showing step, but I cancelled that step. Okay, now. Next, ascending order, descending order. So what happens? Sort. Next step, remove empty. Empty means what? Null values. Suppose your column contains null values, you want to remove them, then we use it. For example, we don't have any null value in employee number column. You just go to commission column. Of course, commission is also number family only, right? In commission column, we have null values. See this. So remove empty. See that what happened based on null value, that row, whatever the null valued row is there, that deleted. I mean, those rows deleted. Please check it. So next, go to number filters. Number filters means operators. We use different types of operators in these number filters. For example, employee number means number family column, right? And what is the column we are using now? Employee number column we are using. Employee number is number family, right? Suppose employee number equal to 7369. In the same way, suppose equals to 7788. Different employee numbers I'm using. But here important thing is there are some operators and operator or operator. When we use and or operators, what is the difference between and or operators? See, we use and or operators when we are working with multiple conditions in the query. Okay. Coming to next scenario. And operator means every condition must be satisfied. Suppose you have different conditions there. Please check it. Right, and you have different conditions there. Please check. And you separated them by using AND operator, right? And that means every condition must be satisfied. OR operator means if any condition satisfied, then you can complete the task. Now it is not going to complete because I'm using AND operator. See that no data is coming. No data is extracted. Let's do one thing. Here you can see the step applied. You open this step like this. Go for OR operator. See this? Now it is working. Got my point? So when we are working with multiple conditions in the same scenario, we use AND OR operators. AND operator means every condition must be satisfied. OR operator means if any condition satisfied, so that you can extract that. That's what happened now. We have seen practically also, right, Andy? So I'm going to cancel this step. But remember, in real time, we are not going to cancel this step. Okay, now? So next scenario, you go to character.
So I have one doubt.
Tell me.
Okay. So in the AND operator, so the both the condition what you gave, that 7369 and 7788, so that both were matching, then it should pull the data also.
Not matching. AND means it must be there in the same column, same value, single attempt. But they are not single attempt, right? They are different department numbers, right? Okay, now?
Okay.
Got my point? But when you are using OR operator, it is working, right?
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
reason. Okay, now?
Yeah, got it.
Right.
Thank you.
Coming to next scenario. Ename call. Ename means what? Character data. In Power BI, we call it as text data. Open this drop down window. See that in same, everything same. Everything same. Please check. But you go to this area. Changed. Because based on data type. What's happening here? filters are going to change. I mean, changed already. We can see here now. So begins with, suppose ename begins with yes and, suppose contains P. See this and operator I'm using. So means every condition satisfied there. Started with yes, contains T. Please check it. Right hand. Open this filter. Go for R operator. Now you can see more. See. That is what the scenario. Okay, no? And in the same way, higher date. Date time data. Because see here we are working with the different types of data. Right now it is date time. Everything is same, but filters changed. Only year, only quarter. Suppose quarter one related data. How many quarters there per year? Any idea, please? Anybody? How many quarters per year? 4 quarters.
4 quarters.
In the same way, cancel this step and go to month. Suppose I need only June month data. Please check it. So month, week, everything based on what? Date time. So these are the scenarios. In the same way, you can see your column names and these are row numbers. What are these things? Row numbers. Remember this point also. Okay. Na? So based on column name, based on row number, also we are going to perform some transformations that we will see in tomorrow's class. Practice these things for today. And coming to next scenario, Samar and Ashish, you connect to 7 a.m. class. Tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock class. You don't need to connect to 5 p.m. Okay, na? And we will give you access to 7 a.m. class recordings also. I think this guy already got access, Ashish. Summer, you'll get it. In yesterday's class, we discussed about some scenarios like complete details about the project environment and how it is going to work in real time. Every scenario we discussed in the last session, yesterday's class. And coming to next case. We are going to discuss about introduction part of the Power BI practical environment. I mean, Power BI desktop. The major tools in Power BI environment we are going to work are Power BI desktop, Power BI service. Okay. So Power BI desktop is for development purpose. Complete development activities of the Power BI we are going to perform in Power BI desktop environment only. Okay. So I'll show you how to install Power BI desktop. Even I'll help you in SQL Server installation also. You don't worry about that. And coming to next scenario. Basically, in Power BI environment, real time we are going to work with licensed software. But now, practical purpose in this training environment, we are going to work with free software. So we have different versions of the Power BI. Now, what are the versions there? Kiran, tell me, Kiran. Any questions? Right. Free version, pro version, and premium version. So these are the different versions of the Power BI we have. So coming to next scenario. Free version, directly we can download it from official website of the Microsoft Corporation, and we can use it for practice purpose. No doubt. Coming to next step. Pro version, premium version. Pro version of the SQL Server, premium version of the SQL Server, they are, licensed softwares. So generally when you are working with real-time environment, real-time project, so we are going to work with the pro version of the SQL and premium version of the SQL. Sorry, Power BI. That's okay. See, pro version, premium version, licensed. That means if you want to work with those versions, you have to purchase license, then only you can work with them. That's fine. But when we are going to work with the pro version and premium, what is the difference between pro version and premium version? So that is really important now. Forget about free. Free means that is only for practice purpose. Real time purpose we cannot use. Project purpose we cannot use free version of the skills. Power BI, right? Coming to next scenario. Now, pro version, generally what happens, when you are working with the gigabyte size of the data, hundreds of the users, right? And in that scenario, we are going to work with the pro. I mean, middle level cost. Premium version, when you are working with the terabyte size of the data, in the same way, thousands of the users, then you are going to work with the premium version of this Power BI. But what is going to change means, yesterday we discussed about some scenarios. Storage capacity, number of users. That is really important. Right? Pro version, premium version. So the only difference is like, storage capacity in the same way. User capacity, number of users. So this point is really important in the beginning. And coming to next scenario. Initially, you're going to create some data set. Data set in the sense data, whatever the tables that and all you are going to copy from source to Power BI environment, we call it as data set. So now coming to next scenario. One second, 1 minute, please, all of you. Right, coming to next scenario. Now, you're copying data, you're going to create data set inside Power BI. Okay, so two things we have to discuss here, because we're in the beginning only. Better to maintain clarity from the beginning. Otherwise, what happens, it is going to create a lot of confusion. Here we have something like a data source. Assume that your data source is SQL Server. So in the same way, this is your Power BI environment. Okay, na? Fine. You're going to copy data from data source to Power BI environment. So I said like data source is SQL Server. What is SQL Server? Microsoft RDBMS database. How data is going to store in Microsoft RDBMS databases? Tables format. Maintain clarity. So you are going to copy data from data source to Power BI. Means you are going to copy table from data source to Power BI. Clear? Right? Even in Power BI environment also, data is going to store in the form of tables only. Right? And so now next question we can ask, like, what table contains? Generally, table contains structure and data. Structure means columns, data means rows. Okay, better what is structure, what is data, that also will give you clarity. See, for example, here we have some table. Suppose table name is what? Products. So in this table, we have different columns like this. Suppose column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, like this. Okay, na? So now this area is comes under structure of the table. Right, Andy? Structure of the table. See, after creating structure, what we are doing, we are going to insert data into table like this in the form of what? Rows. So this is rows. That's why we say like what is table means it is collection of columns and rows. We say like that. So this area is comes under what? Data. So this is structure of the table. This is data of the table. Structure means what? Columns. Data means what? Rows. Got my point, all of you? So maintain clarity. So now coming to next scenario. We have table here. Table contains these things. The same table we are going to copy from source to Power BI. And structure and data. Everything is going to copy from source to Power BI. So coming to Power BI environment, we call structure as metadata, rows data as physical data. Okay, Nene? So little terminology is going to change between your data source and the Power BI. So in SQL environment, we call it as structure, and coming to Power BI environment, we call it as metadata. In the same way, in SQL environment, we call it as data. Coming to Power BI environment, we call it as physical data. Right? Same concept. Concept is not going to change, but terminology is going to change. Okay, na? So this is the point. Okay, that's fine. See, next question is, so format of the data. Format of the data is clear. Table only. Table contains metadata, physical data. And one more important point. You have to concentrate on Power BI. SQL is not so important for us. Query is part important because we are not going to develop any SQL environment, right? Just we are going to take data from SQL environment, but we are going to develop everything in Power BI environment. So concentrate on Power BI environment. And coming to next scenario, format of the data is clear. Tables format. Even terminology is also clear. Metadata, physical data, done. Right? And but what is storage mode? Where inside Power BI, where the data is going to store? Why I'm asking this question, you know? SQL server is database. Purpose of the SQL server is data storage only, right? And purpose of the SQL server is data storage only. So no need to discuss much about that. But coming to Power BI, it is not database, right? It is data analysis and report creation tool. Some data warehouse tool. So in this data warehouse tool, where the data is going to store, that is important. That is my question. See, we have some cloud environment called as Azure. This is from Microsoft only, Microsoft cloud environment only. Azure cloud, right? Metadata is going to store in Azure SQL environment. Physical data is going to store in Azure BLOB format. So BLOB means Azure Data Lake. Physical data is going to store in Azure blob format. Metadata is going to store in Azure SQL format. Remember, here you'll get some doubts. So we don't know anything about Azure because we are working with Power BI development only. Do I need to learn anything about Azure also? No need, because see, storage is different. Storage purpose, separate team will be there. Azure team will be there. They're going to take care of storage. So, but you should know where the data is going to store, right? I'll give you some more information about Azure SQL and Azure Blob when we are going to work with the Power BI service environment. Okay, na? Don't worry about that. And coming to the next scenario. So data related, I mean format related, storage related, everything is clear. Now, fine. Coming to next step. Generally, you started database. I mean, Power BI development means database copy only. Without copying data, we cannot perform any operation in Power BI environment. So, Power BI development is going to start with the copy data only, no doubt. So, let's concentrate on copy data area. So, how to copy data from source to Power BI? What are the different ways we have to copy data from source to Power BI environment? See, assume that there is some table products in the source end. What is the table name? Products. This table contains some columns, sales amount. Of course, we have some other columns also. I'm going to discuss some points related to sales amount from products table. That's why I mentioned that column name there. Fine. So now, okay, forget about sales amount. We'll discuss that later. We have some table products. So 10 rows of the data there in the table, I mean products table in the source. Now you are going to copy products table from source to Power BI. Okay. The different ways are import and direct query. So by using import, by using direct query, we can copy data from source to Power BI environment. Okay, now we can copy data from source to Power BI environment. Okay, fine. So what is import? Let us see. Suppose you are using import, table structure and data. Everything will be copied. Okay, Nandi? Table structure and data, everything will be copied from source to Power BI environment. That is import. See, we can use import for databases in the same way files also. Because sometimes we store data in the form of files in the source. I mean, Power BI developer, sometimes you're going to copy data from databases. Sometimes you're going to copy data from files also. Excel files, Notepad files, Word files, WordPad files. Like this, we have different types of files. Right, Annie? So whether you are going to retrieve data from databases or files, but you can use, files, you can use import. But see, if you are using import, table structure and data, everything will be copied from source to Power BI environment, and it is going to store in Power BI environment permanently. Right? And that is import. Next step. For example, we are going to copy data from source to Power BI by using direct query. How we are doing this task? Direct query. Then what happens, only tables structure will be copied from source to Power BI. Data will not be copied. Data will be there in the source only. Only structure is going to copy from source to Power BI environment. Here what happens, some connection, permanent connection will be there between your Power BI and your data source, because you are using direct query. Got my point, Alf? So in this scenario, physical data we are not going to copy. We are going to copy only metadata. Only metadata, not physical data. And coming to next scenario, one more point. Direct query can be used for only databases. Right? Only for databases. Direct query you cannot use it for file. Right, Andy? So this is what the scenario. Now, okay, fine. Suppose forget about direct query for some time. Right, Andy? Forget about direct query for some time. We used import. So what happened? Table structure, data copied from source to Power BI. Fine. Okay. 10 rows there in the source table. 10 rows copied from source to Power BI environment. Right. Now, you did copy. Copying data from source to Power BI is done. Okay. Now, what happened, in source environment, data modified. Modified in the sense, suppose somebody inserted 10 rows. See, here the thing is, this area is done. Initially, what happened? You copied table structure and the data from source to Power BI by using import. That is done. Now somebody inserted some rows up, suppose for example 10 rows. So that is latest data which is existing in the source and source table. And now can I copy that new modification or new data from source to Power BI or not? Why not? We can copy. So for that we have some concept called as refresh. Okay, na? Suppose you are going for refresh, you are going to refresh the scenario. Then what happens, whatever the new data, 10 rows inserted into source, modified in source, they'll be copied. Okay, na? So by using this concept, refresh concept, whatever the modifications done in the source, those modifications will be copied from source to Power BI environment. So this refresh concept is also important for us. Because generally, initially what happens, you're going to copy data from source to Power BI. After that, your source is going to modify, right? Your source is going to modify by the users. Then you have to copy those modifications from source to Power BI. For that, we are using refresh. Okay, that is fine. And so we got some idea what is refresh, why we are using refresh, and how it works. Okay, that's fine. But my question is, we discussed two different scenarios to copy data from source to Power BI. Import and direct query. Import and direct query. Can I use refresh for import and direct query or not? This is the question. Import, we can use refresh. The reason I'll tell. See, if you are using import, what happens, the data is going to copy from source to Power BI, right? Data is going to copy from source to Power BI if you are using import. So then if any modifications done in the source, then you have to copy them from source to Power BI. That is import. So refresh is required. Next scenario, direct query. If you are going for direct query, data will not be copied. Only structure will be copied. Then why we need to go for refresh, tell me? Got my point, all of you, right? So if data copied, then if any modifications done in the source, then you have to refresh because you have to copy those modifications from source to Power BI. There you need refresh. But now data not copies when you are working with the direct query, right? Then why you need to go for a refresh? Am I right or not? So refresh we do for import. But if you copy some table by using direct query, no need to go for refresh. Is it clear, all of you? Clear? What is the difference between import and direct query? And what is refresh concept? Clear or any questions, please? Any questions, please? Right? Okay, now? So this is required in the beginning. So the scenarios today we discussed, they are base for Power BI training. Suppose you don't know all these things directly, we are going to start working with Power BI, then there will be no use. You should know what's happening, right? So we have different
Sir.
scenarios.